Hey everyone, I'm Six-Path Weeb, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're diving into a brand new fanfic discussion. What if Naruko was the one to rescue Amber in RWBY? Before we get started, just a quick note, this channel is purely for entertainment and discussion. I don't own any of the anime footage you'll see here. All rights and credits go to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, let's jump right into the story. Most people wish to continue living. When confronted with the possibility of the unknown, they cling tightly to life with hope, determination, and persistence. They plead for more time, bargain with fate, and search for another chance. Naruko Uzumaki, however, had not expected her journey to be interrupted at all. And so, she reacted with neither panic nor despair. Instead, her experience came as an astonishing surprise. It happened during what should have been a simple, carefree moment, a warm bowl of ramen, enjoyed after a long and exhausting day. She had been concentrating on maneuvering her chopsticks with one hand, as her other arm was still recovering. Everything seemed so ordinary. Until, quite suddenly, she found herself no longer seated in a lively shop, but instead drifting through an endless white expanse. What in the world? Naruko murmured, raising her hand before her eyes in bewilderment. This makes no sense. Her words echoed softly through the vast emptiness. Indeed, came a voice both unfamiliar and calming, answering almost immediately. Your time ended most unexpectedly, in a way that was far from dignified. Naruko turned toward the voice. She had met many who pretended to be gods, beings of overwhelming power such as Madara, Obito, and even Kaguya. Yet this presence felt truly different. Before her stood a towering figure cloaked in golden light. Its form was only loosely human in shape, crowned with majestic antlers like those of a deer. Its features were expressionless, almost faceless, but its aura radiated authority and mystery. I intend to correct this, the figure spoke. Naruko blinked. You're saying you'll bring me back? The figure nodded. Yes. I am offering to restore you to your body. Naruko tilted her head. Something about this didn't sit quite right. Instead of simply accepting, she asked, why me? The being shifted slightly, its tone softening. Because I lost a wager. Naruko almost stumbled at the response. Wait, what? Calmly, the golden figure explained. My brother and I placed a bet on how long you would continue your journey. You were meant to live many more decades. I miscalculated, and I do not wish him to claim victory so easily. If you agree to return, the wager continues. Naruko folded her arms, her expression skeptical. So, you don't want your brother to win? That is correct, the deity admitted. My brother, the god of darkness, delights in reminding me of his triumphs. Restoring you means the contest is still ongoing. Naruko raised an eyebrow. You sound just like a person who hates losing. I do not lose, the god of light responded firmly. Naruko chuckled. Maybe not usually, but this time you sort of did. Still, I get it, you don't want to hand your little brother the satisfaction. Honestly, that's kind of relatable. Before the deity could reply, a deep laugh echoed across the void. Oh, but I have one. Boomed another voice, playful and triumphant. Admit it, brother of light. The golden figure clenched its jaw as the laughter rang louder. Naruko, standing between them, could only watch in wonder. A rush of warm air swept through Naruko's essence, sending her spinning into the vast emptiness with a startled gasp. The god of light made no move to assist her. Panic gripped her, and she feared she might continue drifting endlessly, unable to regain control. She was just a spirit now, without any way to stop herself or guide her movements. Her limbs flailed wildly in the void, accomplishing nothing. No. Focus. Change direction. Please. Suddenly, giant violet fingers gently enveloped Naruko's glowing form and lifted her back from the void with effortless precision. Victory. A new voice boomed, vibrant and triumphant. For the first time in millennia. And I owe it to you. When she regained her bearings, Naruko found herself face to face with another deity. Compared to the towering god of light, this newcomer was slightly shorter, yet no less imposing. Its deep purple form was smooth and expressionless, yet somehow radiated a playful energy, almost reminiscent of a child discovering a new toy. Segmented horns curved backward over its head, giving it an aura of enigmatic power. Despite its imposing appearance, Naruko felt a surprising sense of warmth, almost endearing. Thank you, mortal, the deity intoned, bowing slightly before releasing her. I grant you my boon. No. The god of light protested sharply. That is not permitted. Boons have consequences. We've seen it before. Can. Am. Did. The smaller god snapped its fingers with a crisp click, ignoring the objection. It is done. There is no reversing it. Naruko trembled as a faint violet aura emanated from the deity, brushing over her essence. A divine boon, what did it mean? Good fortune? A challenge? She could feel no change at first, only a lingering sense of confusion. Whatever had been done, the details were mysterious. Did you, by any chance, give me something strange? She asked nervously. I gave you my boon, the deity replied with a small chuckle. Right. And what does that do exactly? She pressed. You'll discover in time, came the cryptic answer. Are all deities this enigmatic? Naruko muttered. Not all, the smaller god shrugged. Only some of us. A tension built between the two deities, and Naruko found herself caught between their silent negotiations. After a long moment, they reached an agreement. Excellent, said the god of light. We have an accord. For now, the smaller god replied, its voice calm but watchful. But I will be observing. And as for you, Naruko, embrace the change and explore the world in my name. In a swirl of mystical light, the smaller god departed, leaving Naruko alone with the celestial presence of the god of light. Naruko, still uncertain, tried to appeal to the deity. Please, just return me to my original form, she implored. I don't wish for further complications. The deity remained impassive. You are now a spirit inhabiting a new form. This vessel is intact, though the original consciousness has departed. Use this opportunity to make a positive difference. You will encounter challenges, but your abilities and memories will guide you. Proceed with care and courage. Naruko hesitated, realizing she was no longer in her familiar body. Tentatively, she looked down at herself. This was not her usual form, she was now in the shape of a young woman. Her skin was tan, her figure petite, dressed in simple, light clothing. Oh no, she whispered. This isn't my body. How? How am I supposed to manage this? As she adjusted to her new form, she realized she could sense fragments of the previous owner's memories. Scenes of care, determination, and everyday life flashed through her mind. A young girl with dark hair and golden eyes, named Amber, had once inhabited this body. She had friends, family, and a life full of ordinary joys and struggles. Naruko felt the weight of these memories pressing upon her, not as her own, but as an extension of Amber's experiences. Though overwhelmed, Naruko steadied herself. She had been given a unique opportunity to navigate this new existence, to face challenges, and perhaps to guide this world in her own way. She took a deep breath. All right, she murmured, determination settling in her chest. Let's see what I can do with this chance. Something within this body had long since faded, she could feel latent knowledge awaken as she reached for it. Her mind had been slowly worn down by time, long slumber, and whatever challenges the previous inhabitant had endured. Tentatively, she sent out a gentle probe and touched what might have been the young girl's consciousness. There was no response. The body was present, if weakened. But the mind? Silent. Not even a flicker. What kind of strange misfortune was this? To awaken in the body of a comatose girl, someone trapped in stillness, and be left to navigate this world alone. This wasn't simply unfair, it was bewildering. That settled it. The god of light was certainly frustrating. Something told her the god of darkness was no easier. Yet beneath the irritation, beneath the confusion and uncertainty, Naruko felt something else, a surge of energy. When she focused on it, a warm, invigorating sensation coursed through her, carrying with it an almost euphoric vitality. It wasn't chakra. It couldn't be. But it was. Similar enough to rouse her body, to reignite a spark in her mind like a rising tide of determination. She clung to it, even as an unfamiliar force seemed to draw at it. No. She would hold on to this second chance, even as this strange mechanism sought to overwhelm her. It fueled her resolve, lending strength she didn't know she had. Until she looked up and saw a shadow. For a brief moment, her vision cleared. Through the haze, she saw a figure. A lone woman stood at the far side of the room, clad in red and gold. She had an arrow poised on her bow. Naruko didn't think. Didn't hesitate. She reacted. Energy surged through her hand, lending strength to limbs that were not originally her own. This time, when her glowing fist met the glass barrier, it responded, not shattering, but moving forward with force, intercepting the poised archer. The figure's startled gasp was strangely satisfying. The sight of her stumbling backward from the impact drew a small, victorious grin. Wait. What was that structure? How did she know what an elevator was? A memory buzzed faintly, but she pushed it aside with a muttered growl. It was overwhelming, even as she climbed free from the pod, even as the glass crunched harmlessly beneath her feet, even as she steadied herself, she felt a growing clarity. She knew where she was, just as she recognized the astonished figure staring at her. A name surfaced instantly, dredged from a shadowed corner of the girl's mind. Ozpin.
I can't believe it, the man said, appearing as though he'd seen a specter.
Amber? You're alive? How? Naruko tried to respond, she truly did. She tried to explain that this must be a mistake, that Amber was gone, yet some invisible barrier tied her tongue. Only a croak escaped. Ah, so the restriction on speaking was indeed real. Every attempt to speak her own name brought an uncomfortable pressure to her temples, holding her silent. In the end, she could only manage a weak, "I don't know." Remarkably, that seemed enough to ease the man's concern. Before he could ask more, the cane-wielding figure darted to another pod and quickly assisted a woman free from it. Naruko had just enough time to notice her striking red hair and vibrant green eyes before a flicker of metal caught her attention. Without thinking, she moved to intercept it. Arg? An arrow grazed her hand. Naruko didn't cry out, she had endured far more disorienting moments. Yet the sensation made her stumble. Reflexively, she removed the arrow. It left her hand sore, an unfamiliar discomfort that persisted. Why wasn't it easing? She didn't have her usual source of inner energy to heal her now. The realization only heightened her frustration, until a pair of steady arms helped her regain her footing. The tall redhead who had freed the other woman swept in front of her. "You're awake." "Yes, quite the surprise," Naruko said, her voice low but steady. "Can someone please help with my hand?" "I'm sorry." The redhead blinked, briefly bringing her hands to her face before swiftly improvising. "I don't have proper supplies, but here." In one smooth motion, she tore a slender strip from her sash and began wrapping Naruko's hand. The delicate movement contrasted with Naruko's newly awakened strength. Amber's body, or rather, Naruko's body, responded instinctively, a small smile tugging at her lips as she observed the careful attentiveness. Perhaps this wouldn't be so overwhelming after all. "She's mine." A trio of arrows shot toward her, black as shadows. Ozpin intercepted two with his cane, but one curved past him. Naruko's body reacted instinctively, moving to intercept it before it could reach the redhead. Anger and determination surged anew, bright and fervent. "Would you please stop?" she said, holding the smoldering remains of the intercepted arrow. "It's painful." "Then stay still," the archer replied, a firm intensity in her tone. "And I will make it easier." Naruko's gaze hardened. "I think not." Ozpin didn't take a single step forward. Movement implied action, and action implied she had actually walked, stepped, or at least shifted her weight. None of that happened here. For a fleeting moment, the headmaster of Beacon, thanks to Amber's memories, stood between them and the threat, a steadfast figure holding a cane with quiet authority. In her other hand, she lifted a large white mug to her lips, taking a long, contemplative sip. Then, almost imperceptibly, her form flickered. A sharp sound of twisting metal echoed through the room. That was an impressively human-shaped dent in the wall. She dared to hope it might slow the archer, but it didn't. "Did you think that would stop me?" the Blackett asked, her form pulsing with energy. Flames of power surged from her, sweeping away the restraints that had held her in place. For a fleeting instant, her eyes glimmered as she levitated slightly above the ground. The spectacle was brief. Soon, her heels clicked back on the floor. Amber muttered under her breath. Who fought in heels? Still, Naruko noted that she was ready to continue, anger radiating from her every movement. "Such a shame," Ozpin sighed. "I intended to challenge you thoroughly." Above them, a surge of energy caused the ceiling to tremble. Naruko sensed the chaos, her heightened awareness picking up the impact of the struggle happening above. Tiny lights flickered out on the surface as if a storm had passed over them. She could only hope those affected were safe and that her intervention might make a difference. "Hey, Red. What's your name?" The armored girl blinked in surprise. "Pyrrha, ma'am." "Don't call me that," a calm, tan arm waved her away. "Whatever is happening up there, can the two of us handle it?" "You're certain?" Ozpin asked, eyebrow raised. "By yourself?" "Yes," Naruko replied confidently. "I'm ready." "You can't," Pyrrha exclaimed. "You're hurt. We should." Amber laughed, a wild, high-pitched sound. "I've got this," she said, tilting her head with a small audible crack. "I can handle her." Though Naruko felt the strain, she knew that if they could help those above, If they could make a difference, it would all be worthwhile. Very well, Ozpin said, exhaling slowly. Come with me, Miss Nikos. As they moved, the archer paid them no attention, focused solely on Amber. For a moment, Naruko considered that Pyrrha might try to intervene, but Ozpin's steady hand guided her onward. Then, with a shout of encouragement, Naruko caught her shield instinctively. It was lighter than expected, and she sensed it would be crucial in the moments ahead. That was unwise, the dark-haired woman warned as she approached, sending them away. You're not ready yet. Maybe, Naruko replied, shrugging. But I like my chances. This body has strength you do not understand, the woman countered, and you have no hope against me. See, when you say it like that, it motivates me, Naruko bantered back. Though she felt the limitations of her borrowed body, Naruko could sense its power. Amber's body remembered combat, remembered this adversary, and responded instinctively. Memories of past encounters surged through her, guiding her movements. I am grateful for this guidance, Naruko whispered to herself. Together, we can do this. The battle continued, a dazzling display of skill, strategy, and courage. Naruko dodged, blocked, and countered, using Amber's abilities in harmony with her instincts. Sparks flew from metal clashing, and energy flowed at her fingertips as she drew on both her own determination and the memories embedded in this body. Focus, she muttered, centering herself. Trust my instincts. Trust Amber. In that moment of clarity, time seemed to slow. Her opponent's movements froze briefly, and Naruko felt an invisible support, a comforting presence guiding her from within. Amber's spirit, serene and confident, filled her with calm and courage. Enjoying the new body? A soft, ethereal voice asked. Not entirely, Naruko admitted. Are you real? That depends. Do you want me to be? Naruko took a deep breath, finding new resolve. Together, they moved as one, a combination of spirit and skill, courage and determination. With synchronized precision, she unleashed a controlled burst of energy, a spinning sphere of light that raced toward her opponent. The power hit its target with force, a brilliant explosion of energy that sent shockwaves through the battlefield. Naruko steadied herself, feeling both Amber's strength and her own determination guiding her forward. She smiled to herself, confident. They were ready to protect those around them and face whatever challenges lay ahead. The god of darkness did not follow conventional rules. Why would she? Time and time again, her sister had outshone her. Time and time again, her sister had outwitted her. Time and time again, her sister had claimed what was rightfully hers. What meaning did fairness hold in a universe so tilted toward her sister? Every contest seemed to favor the god of light, bringing frustration and struggle without end. Even when agreements were made, they were inevitably slanted toward her elder sibling. Until a certain soul changed everything. One small victory had granted the god of darkness a devoted follower, a believer, perhaps even a disciple. She had not overlooked what her sister had done to this follower during her absence. So, this was her sister's plan. Despite all her talk of balance and fairness, the god of light had proven impatient and competitive. The one time her younger sibling prevailed, the one time she succeeded, the one time she truly shone. Her sister had attempted to hinder that determined soul, placing them in a vulnerable position, but that would not be enough to stop them. No, not at all. She had bestowed upon that soul her blessing, encouraging them to flourish, to bring change in her name. They could not accomplish anything if held back. Perhaps a gentle nudge from a higher power would help, just enough to balance the scales. But how could she intervene without breaking their pact? Both she and her sister had abandoned the mortal realm of Remnant, vowing never to return until the four relics were reunited. The agreement was sacred, yet her followers' plight required immediate attention. Her blessing made them connected to her essence, she could feel their experiences as her own. Their struggles were hers to share, their victories hers to amplify. A solution was clear, a mentor must guide their disciple, and her sister could not argue against such responsibility. Raising a hand tinged with violet light, the god of darkness reached across the universe to aid her first follower. She whispered encouragement, sharing just a fragment of her strength. It was subtle, a spark of divine energy, but enough to ignite potential, to awaken the power within the soul she had chosen to guide. The world around them might remain unaware, but this gentle intervention would tip the balance in their favor. Change was coming, and with change came possibility. Cinderfall was having a challenging day. Why won't you stop? Flames leapt from her fingertips, only to meet an obstacle as Amber pressed forward. Cinder stepped back and summoned another burst of fire, but Amber's determination did not waver. Her golden eyes focused solely on their target, Victory. The intensity of the moment drove Cinder to act decisively. She launched an attack, but the wind shifted unexpectedly, and her efforts were blocked by a sudden surge of cold. Icicles formed in the air, and the world around her seemed to chill. She could not remain idle. She had to continue, to push forward. Flames clashed with ice, steam rising between them. Amid the chaos, Cinder rolled to safety and retrieved her scroll, fingers flying over the familiar controls. "Ma'am?" Emerald's voice called from the chaos. "Where are you?" "The Grim are retreating. The White Fang are dispersing." "I'm not concerned with that," Cinder shouted. "Focus on helping me here, now." A sudden bolt of light struck, destroying her communication device. She dodged just in time as Amber came down with the force of a whirlwind. Cinder could sense her presence, the earth beneath her reacting to every step. A challenge unlike any other pressed her to her limits. "You won't succeed," Amber said, eyes glowing, "but I will give you a fair chance." Cinder struck back with renewed determination. The battle was fierce, full of energy and elemental displays. Flames met ice, lightning danced through the air, and every motion tested their endurance. Even as Cinder felt her strength wane, Amber's resolve did not falter. "You are not alone anymore," Amber said softly, her golden eyes steady. "I have a responsibility to protect, and I will not falter." Cinder realized her opponent's determination matched her own. They were equals in skill, but their methods differed. Still, she refused to yield. Every strike, every defense, every flicker of flame or ice was a testament to their resolve. The battlefield became a dance of elements, a clash of wills. Neither could dominate completely, yet each action carried significance. Cinder's efforts, while extraordinary, were met with Amber's steadfast courage. Sparks flew, winds roared, and the world seemed to hold its breath as the two forces tested one another. Cinder's thoughts swirled, strategy, timing, control. She was aware of the power her opponent wielded, yet she pressed forward, unwilling to surrender. Each movement had purpose, each spell precise. The duel was as much about skill as it was about spirit, about heart. Even as she faltered, even as she was pushed to her limits, Cinder's determination endured. The confrontation had become a test, not of life or death, but of resilience, creativity, and the strength of conviction. Amber and Cinder clashed again and again, a spectacle of elemental mastery. The outcome was uncertain, but both knew one truth: victory was less about defeating the other than proving the strength of their own will. "You come here and flaunt your extraordinary abilities as if it's something to boast about." A hand rose, and the skies responded to her command, swirling with magnificent, spiraling winds. "You're no better than those who misuse power. No. You're even worse," she exclaimed, and a mighty force seemed to echo her words. This girl had hopes. Dreams. You stole them. Amber's hand stretched outward as she began to levitate. High above, the great storm dragon descended from the tower, its wings battered by countless lightning strikes. All around, the remaining dragons scattered. Without their leader, their formation broke, and many fled toward the cliffs. Even Cinderfall could only retreat in the face of this girl's singular determination. Surely, the forces of the universe favored her. How else could she still stand? And you know what? Cinder thought she saw the girl's lips curl, those fierce golden eyes gleaming with extraordinary intensity. "I've made a decision. You don't deserve this power. I'm reclaiming it." She released the last of her aura as another lightning bolt struck, sending her backward. Somewhere in the cosmos, a mysterious voice echoed, but Cinder was too focused on keeping herself upright to notice. Amber leapt forward, pinning Cinder with precise control, her movements firm but careful. "Cinder, fall," she called, her voice resonating like the echoes of thousands of voices united. "You have misused the power entrusted to you. You have taken what did not belong to you. Usurper. Manipulator. You will not retain this power." Cinder attempted to counter, but Amber's mastery over her abilities was flawless. She deftly controlled pillars of ice, redirecting Cinder's attacks harmlessly aside. Then, with graceful precision, she neutralized her opponent's remaining defenses, leaving Cinder utterly disarmed. "This wasn't supposed to happen," Cinder whispered, bewildered. "I should have succeeded. Destiny was on my side. So why? You call this success? Through your recklessness and misuse of power, you have endangered those who trusted you," Amber said, her golden eyes now flecked with blue and violet. "You are unworthy of this ability, unworthy of your position." A final icy surge struck, not to harm, but to separate the power from Cinder. Amber intoned clearly, "I take from you now your abilities, your title, and your privileges. In the name of balance and all those who came before, I return it. A vivid pulse of light flowed from Cinder into Amber. It was the energy she recognized and had once wielded herself. In that instant, Amber seemed to radiate from within, a brilliant testament to her rightful command. Cinder fell back, powerless, tears welling in her eyes. The energy she had sought so desperately was gone, and she was left with only herself. Amber stood tall, her task complete, yet she made no move to punish further. She raised her staff and gestured once, guiding Cinder to leave. "Go," Amber said. "Leave this place and reconsider your choices." Cinder, stunned, whispered, "You're sparing me?" "This is not mercy," Amber replied. "It is consequence. Remember, your actions have results, and chaos has its own balance. Go now." Her staff shimmered briefly, a reminder of the order she now represented. "You were powerless before this. You will leave in the same state. Now. Run." Dash. Later, Naruko awoke with a start. The spirit of Amber had receded, leaving her soul shaken but in full control of her body once more. "I thought you didn't want to wake," a soft voice said. "I didn't," Naruko yawned, "but someone changed my mind. Try not to make a mess while I rest." Even as she observed Cinder fall retreating, stumbling helplessly, Naruko knew she could have pursued her, but she didn't. The former manipulator would learn from her defeat. The lesson was already more than enough. Suddenly, a familiar crimson blur zipped toward her. "Wait. Wait for me." Naruko blinked. "What now?" "You saved Pyrrha." The little girl squealed, holding tight to Naruko's arm. Naruko smiled faintly. "Let go, little one," she chuckled, but allowed the grip for a moment. "Never." The girl giggled, bouncing gleefully. Naruko could only shake her head, amused. Even as Naruko reflected on the events, she knew the fight had ended, her strength validated not by triumph over others, but by her wisdom and restraint. Amber laughed softly beside her, a warm, knowing sound. And for now, the world was calm. Two souls sharing one body. There was a joke waiting to be made, and Naruko was far too amused not to make it. "Sounds like the beginning of some silly storybook, you know?" She mused aloud, staring at the pale ceiling of the hospital room as everything seemed to swirl and shimmer. "Never mind that we're not really at odds with each other. It's strange, isn't it? Who even comes up with these ideas?" "Herc," Amber groaned. "Can I just rest for a while? This is so confusing." The effects of the nurse's medications were undeniable. Pain seemed meaningless, and the ceiling was alive with colors and sounds that shifted as Amber moved. It made thinking a challenge, to say the least. Trippy. Naruko's mind wandered in a dozen directions, and this was just the latest. If this was what being in this state felt like, she wasn't sure she was ready for what came next. "The least you could do is play devil's advocate," Naruko sulked. "We've got nothing better to do here, after all." "Fine. It's not a bad book, actually," Amber admitted reluctantly when prodded, though her thoughts continued to swirl. "Don't knock Ninjas of Love until you've tried it." A surprised laugh escaped Naruko. "Wait, that's an actual title?" "Hey!" Amber protested. "It's perfectly good reading material." Naruko blinked inwardly. "No. You've read it, haven't you?" "Huh. Could a soul blush?" Naruko had a feeling Amber just had. "I will seriously scold you," Amber huffed. "One more word." Naruko grinned and leaned back against the pillows. At least she wasn't navigating this alone. After the battle for Beacon, there was room for a bit of humor, even amid exhaustion. For better or worse, they had triumphed. The enemies were disarmed, captured, or safely contained, and the city had been protected. There were injuries, certainly, but Amber's storm had helped turn the tide, earning admiration and awe from many. Amber's ears twitched as a muffled shout echoed outside. "Sounds like more commotion." Naruko yawned. "Seems like it." The battle had left the city mostly intact. The grim threat was neutralized, and everyone had witnessed Amber's incredible storm. Some even joked about her divine timing, and news reports called her the Amber Dragonslayer and Stormborn. "Stop!" Amber wailed. "Don't call me that. It's too dramatic." "Amber Stormborn. It has a nice ring to it," Naruko teased. "You don't have a last name, after all." "No." Amber groaned. They had performed a miracle, the kind of victory Naruko would have hoped for. News of their deeds spread quickly. Fame came at a cost, though, as the hospital room reminded them. "Hold still, dearie. This might sting a bit," a nurse said. Amber hissed and withdrew just in time, leaving Naruko back in control. The nurse removed bandages from battle-worn skin, which was uncomfortable to say the least. It wasn't painful, it was a peculiar burning sensation. Naruko, a visitor within Amber's body, couldn't help but wonder, could a soul leave one body for another? They struggled together as the nurse finished her task, relieved when she scurried out before either soul could express frustration. "Don't be such a baby," Amber teased. "Says the one who hid," Naruko hissed. "I don't like doctors. We're well enough as we are. Why are we still here?" "Well," Amber smirked, "you're going to dislike this even more. We have company." The door opened again, and Naruko nearly groaned. "Well?" she asked. "Amber. You're looking well for someone who was unwell for so long," a calm, silver-haired man said. "Got better. What do you want, Ozpin?" Amber's knowledge was shared with Naruko, and Naruko's with Amber, making the encounter seamless. She recognized the man immediately, not from memory, but because Amber trusted him. The faint aroma of coffee in his hand made the room feel warm and comforting. "Can we steal that?" Amber whispered from inside Naruko's head. "Whoa!" Naruko balked. "It's just coffee. Calm down." "How are we feeling today?" Ozpin asked, unaware of the internal debate. "May I?" Amber asked. "I know him better." "What?" "Sure. He's all yours." "Yay Tilda." Amber took control, her senses merging briefly with Naruko's. She answered, "I've been better. What do you have under your arm? A newspaper?" Ozpin chuckled. "Something you should see for yourself. But first, I come bearing gifts." He handed over the mug of coffee. Amber seized it instantly, even with Naruko's shared perspective. The warmth invigorated her, and she purred, "Ah, sweet bliss. Paper, please." Ozpin smiled as Amber grabbed the newspaper. "Hero of Beacon. Protector of Vale. The girl who lived?" she exclaimed. "More titles? How?" Naruko laughed softly, recalling their wild encounter with Cinder. Amber made frustrated noises. "You caused quite a stir with your powers," Ozpin said, "but there's no denying you helped save the city. Everyone saw your battle. You've become quite the celebrity." He gently rested a hand on Amber's shoulder. "You did well, Amber. More than anyone could hope for." Naruko internally sighed. Finally, a break. "I get the day off." "Not so fast," Amber whispered. "You're sharing it with me." Ozpin's expression softened. "For all intents and purposes, you were gone for nearly 2 years, yet you returned. How did you survive?" "Bad luck and the god of darkness," Amber muttered lightly. Naruko winced internally, but Amber's voice was steady. Ozpin didn't press. The truth of their shared soul made some secrets unnecessary. "You're not alone," Naruko reminded Amber mentally. "We beat Cinder. We can handle the rest." Amber smiled and nodded. Together, they were a formidable team. Experience from Naruko's memories added to Amber's natural talent, making them unstoppable if they chose to act. "Check the bottom of the newspaper," Ozpin suggested. Amber obeyed, eyes wide with surprise. "Wait, when? How? It's only been a day. What is this?" "People admire you," Ozpin explained. "They saw your control of the elements, your storm, your courage. Suppressing it did no good. Word spread." Amber groaned. "Is that why they're calling me a goddess?" "The dark goddess of victory," Ozpin said with a slight smirk. "Did we just start a fan club?" Naruko whispered. "I think we did," Amber muttered, shaking her head. Suddenly, the door burst open, and a flood of energetic voices and colors overwhelmed them. 4 young girls tumbled in, excited and curious. "Are you okay?" RWBY asked immediately. "Do you need anything?" "Personal space," Amber shouted, pushing back gently. "Too close." "Sorry," another girl replied, stepping back. The room became a whirlwind of playful energy. One girl pressed a soft, warm kiss to Amber's cheek. Naruko squawked internally. Amber blinked in shock. "It's just a thank you," the girl explained. "For saving us." Amber protested, but the excitement of the young heroes was infectious. Suddenly, the world shifted. Light and shadow danced around them as the god of darkness appeared. Naruko raised a fist instinctively, and saw her reflection. She was whole, solid, and ready. "You can fix this, right? We won." "Let us be," Naruko exclaimed. The god of darkness chuckled. "I cannot. Undoing this would break a pact. But I will loosen your ties. You may find your own way forward." Naruko sulked. "You're such a trickster." The god grunted. What is a trickster? No, no, no. They were definitely not having this conversation. You're not making any sense here, Amber said, her expression turning stubborn. Why help us? Why? That enormous, horned figure tilted her head thoughtfully. Because you are my chosen. The words seemed to hum with quiet authority in the space between them. My first followers in nearly a century. And now, more will come because of your actions. I wanted to thank you personally, and offer a caution. And that is? Amber's chin lifted in steady defiance. You are brave, girl. But courage alone may not be sufficient. The figure leaned slightly forward, her presence commanding. Be mindful of the light. My sibling is clever and determined. She may send someone of her own to challenge you. Before Amber or Naruko could respond, a massive, violet hand moved over them, and the world shifted into darkness. Continue to entertain me, a voice echoed. And then reality returned as quickly as it had disappeared. That settles it, Naruko muttered, frustration evident in her tone. I can't stand these gods. Every last one of them. Agreed, Amber murmured. You ready to go, champ? Huh? Yang gave them a cheerful smile, seemingly unaware of the previous tension. You passed out for a bit, but the doctor says you're fine to go home. We are? Both were caught completely off guard. That's good, I guess? Naruko paused, realization dawning. Wait a second, home? Amber snorted softly to herself. I've been gone for 2 years, remember? I probably don't even have a room here anymore. If I did, it's likely been given to someone else. Some of Amber's uncertainty showed on her face, which RWBY noticed immediately. She grabbed Naruko's hand with bright enthusiasm. Naruko was beginning to suspect RWBY wasn't as innocent as she seemed, but Amber disagreed. She couldn't possibly be plotting anything dangerous, she looked far too sweet and harmless. You don't have anywhere to go, do you? RWBY's silver eyes sparkled with an idea neither Naruko nor Amber entirely liked. Then you can stay with us. Just for tonight. Eh? Naruko exclaimed. Seconded. Yang added. Thirds, Blake contributed after a moment. Weiss exhaled softly. Very well. Fourth. But just for tonight. And I won't sleep on the floor. As Team RWBY continued their animated discussion, Naruko felt the momentum shifting in their favor. Amber tried to speak but was quickly lost in the chaos. You know anything about them? No. Amber squeaked. Nothing. Are they always like this? You're asking me? I know even less than you do. Fine, let me handle it. Sorry, the voice said, firm but calm, but I don't think that's a good idea. I'll make my own arrangements. Normally, that would have been the end of the matter. But not with this team. Yang moved decisively. It's decided, then. Up you go. In a flash, Yang scooped Naruko up effortlessly. No resistance was possible. Naruko gurgled in surprise while Amber let out a startled squeak. What? No. This is so unfair. Put me down. Amber protested. And don't braid my hair. Naruko realized her host was quite the tomboy. Oh, it won't be that bad, Yang said cheerfully. It's just a welcome gathering. Nobody's going to hurt you. A pause followed. Who said anything about a party? Dash. They reached the dorm remarkably quickly, far too quickly for Naruko and Amber's liking. Yang's grip was steady and strong. Escape wasn't an option without causing trouble, which neither wanted. The rest of Team RWBY flanked them on either side, leaving no avenues for retreat. Well, here we are, RWBY exclaimed, oblivious to the tension in Amber's shoulders. Don't worry, you'll fit right in. Naruko frowned. I can sense a lot of people inside. Are you sure you know anyone here? Amber searched for answers. Maybe? Coco's team might still be around. Who's Coco? You heard her. Yang interrupted, opening the door and guiding them inside. Step in, champ. Amber made a half-hearted attempt to resist, but her legs betrayed her as she moved forward into the dimly lit room. Where were all the lights? Was the power out, or? Surprised Hilda. Lights snapped on. Colors exploded around them. Confetti drifted through the air. Amber tried to back away, but Blake and Weiss gently nudged her forward, preventing any escape. A blue banner with red letters read, "Welcome back." Amber noticed a cake, and her stomach growled appreciatively. Hira, the redhead from before, stood nearby in her bronze armor, smiling warmly. Naruko took note of the blonde hair and blue eyes of another student before Amber's attention was drawn away again. Ooh, Is this the Storm Girl? A cheerful voice exclaimed. Nice to meet you. Nora, don't overwhelm her. An orange-haired girl in pink and white with sparkling amethyst eyes attached herself to Amber's arm. Her companion had matching pink eyes, and even a lone pink streak in her dark hair. Naruko observed them with quiet curiosity, noting their calm patience amidst the chaos. And in the back of the room, partially hidden behind a very tall figure. Coco? Amber seized control with such intensity that Naruko felt her senses whirl. By the time she had regained composure, a stylish brunette wearing a chic beret was striding toward them. Her attire was impeccable, though hard to describe fully, and her eyes shone brightly behind her sunglasses, charged with an emotion that Naruko couldn't quite identify. Amber, however, remained frozen, her golden eyes wide and shimmering softly. As the nervous Fall Maiden fumbled over her words, Naruko took a moment to glance through her memories to understand the source of her anxiety. Ah, this was Coco Adel. They had known each other before, friends, nothing more. So why did Amber appear so flustered around her? Aha! A closer look revealed the truth. Coco's gaze was intense, anything but ordinary. Amber attempted to retreat quietly, hoping to slip past, but the brunette blocked her path firmly. You've returned, Coco said. Amber managed a small, apologetic smile and shrugged. I, recovered? I can see that. Coco gently lifted Amber's chin, turning her face from side to side before bringing her gaze back. 2 years have passed, yet you haven't changed a bit. A soft, wistful laugh escaped her lips. It isn't fair. Now I feel like the older one. Naruko instinctively stepped back. This was clearly Amber's personal moment, not hers to interrupt. Yet, despite her effort to stay unnoticed, Naruko sensed every subtle shift of emotion, every ripple of heat rising in the room. Some instinct warned her that something remarkable was about to unfold, and she deliberately looked away, knowing she could not intervene. Please. Amber thought desperately. Naruko continued to maintain her distance, giving them space. Look, about that. The Fall Maiden stammered, hands fluttering nervously. Don't be upset. I can explain. Really, I can. Coco didn't wait for an explanation. She leaned forward and embraced Amber warmly, planting a gentle, affectionate kiss on her cheek. Wha? Amber squeaked, taken by surprise, blinking at Coco. Wha? This is for worrying me, Coco said with a small, playful smile. And this, she added, brushing back Amber's hair, is for returning safely. Both Naruko and Amber were left momentarily speechless. As far as gestures went, Coco's affection was unforgettable. Dear YouTube family. This is all for now. Thank you for watching, and for being part of this amazing journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep growing together. Your support means the world. Stay awesome, stay passionate, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you all. 6 Path Weeb.